got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV. Joe Hunk. John Abraham. 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to another edition of the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, 2 hours on the board, ready to go for you here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 1 hour for ESPN Winchester and all day over on WZZN TV, where you guys can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, X, wherever you watch streams, you will be able to watch us, and we appreciate you tuning in with us today. Phone lines wide open for you at 256-576-97.7 as we throw open those wacky underdog pick doors. On top of that, you can comment all show long with little to no barriers over in WZZN TV's chat box.
Don't think there is a barrier, actually.
No,
well, there's like maybe like one rule, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you probably know what to do when it comes down to it.
Also, be careful, because I know you didn't hear it because you had your headphones on. I looked over. I just heard a massive lightning strike and thunder.
I love it.
I absolutely love this.
Love these vibes. I just wish there were more windows in the studio.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we don't have the window behind us. But at the same time, it literally hit the very moment that you were turning the mics on.
Boom.
And so, if you are listening right now while you're driving, just be careful on this morning or this Tuesday morning as we go along.
No doubt about that. And again, guys, our show sponsor works perfectly with this type of weather. If you see a shingle flying off, you don't need a new roof. You might just need a repair, and that's where our buddies over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration come in. The guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. Just look them up at FlemingHSV.com. Fill out that free quote today, and remember that Fleming always shows up. Now, there was madness last night in the form of Monday Night Football, but it wasn't as intriguing as a lot of people thought. There's a lot of controversy whether or not Derrick Henry's washed or not. Let's just squash that beef.
Yeah,
I think he's still a pretty freaking solid running back. I don't think anybody would not want to pick him up if he did end up into the free agency.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and drop him from your fantasy league, have at it.
Yeah,
I think that you should.
Just because, of course, the 3 fumbles he's had in 3 games in a row to start out the season, and they're not coming in the best place. Joe, fourth quarter fumbles definitely not working for your team. The Ravens, of course, fall to 1-2 in a defeat against the Lions that were completely cooking yesterday. And I got to say, Tom, how does it feel to be back on my level? Because we're both 4-2 and you're beat the big dog. Yep, I'm excited to talk a little bit more about that. But, of course, the big news coming out of the Plains, and it's going to be Bruce Pearl calling it quits with his coaching career that started way back in the 1980s and went, of course, all the way up until the 2025 season with the Auburn Tigers. And, Joe, I want to take this time, all right? And I know you're not feeling too good about this.
Yeah.
It kind of it punched a lot of Auburn fans in the gut, especially when a guy like Bruce Pearl is one of the coaches of the year. You know, you're thinking, okay, we're going to continue riding this hot streak. 32-6 is definitely nothing to slouch about. One of his best records in all of his career, which is saying a lot. But it kind of comes as a surprise.
Well, no, I think there were rumors about this happening and about him retiring, and people had talked about the Senate run. And I know that in his video yesterday, he said that he was not going to be doing that because he'd have to leave Auburn and everything. So there's a lot that is kind of around the whole thing about him leaving. I honestly thought that if he was going to leave, that it was going to be after this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that it would be one of, hey, you know, the rumors have been true. Like, this is going to be my final season. I'm going to retire and kind of do that victory run. I fully get him naming, Stephen Pearl the head coach and him getting that. I obviously know that Auburn was probably a little skeptical about that, obviously, because
I'm very skeptical about it. What is
same,
Steve? Look, I know about Bruce Pearl. I don't know about his kin.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I think that this has to do with more of a look. Now you are talking about a Final Four basketball team that is hiring a coach that has never been a head coach. So, I mean, that's the whole question about this. This isn't like you're Vandy and you're bringing in, an assistant coach from Duke or something. Like, you're talking about those situations. The whole him retiring thing really does suck because, one, let's just think about, just put it in the simplest terms. It is September 23rd. Alabama is playing Georgia this weekend. Auburn just came off a massive loss to Oklahoma, where the SEC actually had to comment on the errors that were made by the officials. Auburn is heading to College Station to take on the number 9 team in the country in Texas A&M. And Bruce Pearl and the Auburn basketball job and him stepping away from that program as the head coach has totally taken over the state in football season, in a state that cares about nothing but college football.
Well, Joe, I mean,
this is the story. That's how big of an impact he's had just on the simplest level.
And I understand that most of our listeners already know about why this is so important, why this is such a big deal. We're talking about a guy that single-handedly put Tennessee's basketball program on the map. And I'm not talking about their women's program. Pat Summitt did that. And he also helped out with it because, of course, back in 2006, whatever, he painted himself orange and was in the crowd and stuff. That was such a powerful moment for Tennessee. And then, of course, just a few years later, they get the number 1 spot in the AP poll. That was the first time they've ever gotten the number 1 spot in the AP poll. He does the same thing with Auburn just I would say like a decade later. So we're talking about a guy that started in the lowest of leagues, won a national championship at D2, goes to Milwaukee, and a lot of people, the first time they found out about him, he was able to beat Alabama back in 2004.
Well, I don't think that trying to figure out how to say this best. You cannot understate how much Bruce Pearl has meant to basketball in the state of Alabama. Yep. And look, you can literally use his hiring back in 2014. This was one that was something that Jay Jacobs had to do because everybody was ready to absolutely fire him, which they should have. But his hiring in 2014 was one that had to be done by Jay Jacobs because the Auburn basketball program was an absolute laughingstock.
Yep.
It was an embarrassment, and it had zero direction whatsoever. You had just created a brand new arena that you had built, and nobody cared about the sport. It was a cavern whenever they were playing at Beard Eves. Nobody was going to the games. Nobody had cared really about Auburn basketball in almost 15 years since they were number 1 in 99 and 2000. And so the program itself was in total disarray. Now you bring on Bruce Pearl, and even though he had the show cause, you knew what this hiring was going to be and what it was going to be for the school, first off. And it did take a couple of years, but you started to see it with like KT Harrell's run in the SEC tournament. You started seeing it with the upset of Kentucky that they had.
The first one in 15 years. Or I think it was 15 games. They were going on a 15-game losing streak to Kentucky.
You started seeing it as well whenever they finally made the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
And then you started – through all of that, you also started seeing 4- and 5-star players start to choose to come to Auburn. And let's not forget, this is all while Auburn, through his entire tenure, was an Under Armour school, because that was the biggest question of, I know Bruce Pearl's coming into Auburn, but basketball players don't want to play for Under Armour schools. Like, they just don't want to wear those shoes. They don't want to wear the uniforms. They don't like the material. It is all this stuff. They are going to choose a Nike school. So when Auburn became a Nike school, my thought was, great. If Bruce Pearl was able to win as an Under Armour school, wait until he's now at Nike school. And that's what they are. You have the uniform drops. Those things look absolutely beautiful. And I was getting excited about it. But Bruce Pearl and the ripple down effect that he had, not just at Auburn, but in the state of Alabama and the SEC, is something that is absolutely, it cannot be measured at what it has done. Because again, in a college football state where literally every day we could open up a microphone and talk about anything college football and every person would be happy, the entire state of Alabama has come to a halt because Bruce Pearl has retired.
Yeah, and there's speculations about what he's going to do next. And of course, we don't want to throw out too much, but a lot of people throwing out the political agenda just because of the whole thing with Tommy Tuberville. He's dropping out of the race for Alabama. So now a lot of people speculating that he is hopping into that just because of a few recent tweets. And on top of that, he has shown a little bit more interest into politics.
Look, in the idea with the politics is he said that he would have to leave Auburn if he was going to do it. Again, I think that there are possibly loopholes. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm not going to say he is or isn't going to do that. But I do know for a fact that every single person, whenever they are looking to try to make an impact and be impactful to other people, whenever they wake up every day and go, how can I do something to make an impact in people's lives, eventually move to a spot where what they were doing at the time, which for him, Bruce Pearl, head coach of a basketball program, changing tons of teenage lives as they've grown into men, and now some of them are playing in the NBA, there comes a point in time where you want to do more.
Yeah.
And I think that for Bruce Pearl, this is something that has been coming for a long time, that he has created a platform and he has become a vocal person with his beliefs, that he believes that it is a time that whatever avenue he is wanting to go down needs somebody that can step up and be that vocal person that can help more people. And I literally am looking at that and telling him, if that is your calling, man, go for it. If your calling is to step away from what you love doing because you feel you have a higher power in whatever aspect it is, either as an ambassador for Auburn or if you are wanting to make a change politically, whatever you want to do, if you feel this is your avenue, then more power to you if you want to travel down that path. Because I promise you, in 2 or 3 years, if he is not happy doing what he can do, I guarantee you.
Yeah, the door would be left open.
He has a lifetime contract. If he wanted to come back and even just be an assistant and help Stephen Pearl, he could do it.
And I think that the whole move to politics is actually a really good thing for him if he does go down that route, just because of all the controversy that he did have in the past. It was similar to like a Watergate type of situation back in the 80s and 90s with him. Yes, this is where a lot of the controversy comes from with him. Of course, he had some controversy in 2010 as well. But whenever he recorded a phone call with a player and tried to get him to admit to receiving some stuff, and of course, it didn't go his way. But regardless, this stuff is all back whenever he was a lot younger, before his coaching tenure. And then, of course, the 2010s, which it got a little bit mucky right there as well.
It's the 2010s. I mean, literally, man had a barbecue.
Like that's all he did.
It's literally a barbecue. He went, he grabbed some Lawlers. He came back to the house. He had some, it's no big deal.
A big deal.
It's actually absolutely idiotic if you look at it in today's standards.
Oh, you're not supposed to be here, but you know what? None of these people are going to say anything.
Yeah, it's absolutely idiotic. But at the same time, all of that stuff, I don't look at it as the same thing as him being pro-Israel and all the other political views. Yeah. That's great, man. Like, I've never seen him like go at somebody on X because they're not like, he would make some comments about, people that are not pro-Israel. He's also Jewish. Like, of course he's supposed to be pro-Israel. Okay, so those whole things about him and his beliefs and all that, like, I don't care. I don't care about your beliefs. I don't care about this. And then you have like Tony Kornheiser that's like, I hope he was being pushed out at Auburn and because of his political beliefs. For somebody to be on national television and to literally know absolutely nothing about a situation, to know not even the slightest inkling of information about what is going on at the university and or going on in the state of Alabama. I don't even know if Kornheiser has even stepped foot in the state of Alabama. He has no clue about what's happening here. And I know that he has no clue about the ideas that what Bruce Pearl was saying or doing affecting or not affecting the way people viewed him as a coach, because it wasn't affecting him. And it was not affecting the way the athletes looked at him for the statements he was making. And if this is the direction he wants to go because he wants to be a person, have a bigger impact, bro, go for it, man.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And the conversation over Bruce Pearl will continue throughout today's show. You guys can hop in on that conversation. But in the next segment, we will be talking a little bit of Georgia Bulldogs with Jordan Hill. But don't worry. He also has his own opinions about Bruce Pearl because he was with the AU blog for the longest of time. So it's going to be a fun conversation when we get him on for the very first time. We always love our first-time guests.
And I apologize.
Joe?
It was Michael Wilbon. Sorry about that. Sorry about calling the wrong PTI guy an idiot. My bad.
You can't be doing that.
Yeah, Michael Wilbon. Sorry about that.
Come on, Joe. But let's hop into the phone lines real quick, and we'll go with Wolverine Dan just because he's got conversation about his team.
And we told him to call back in. Yeah, because he was there. He was on the line yesterday when we wrapped up.
We'll go to him. And Brandon, make sure you stay on the phone line so we can get to you later as well. But Wolverine Dan, how you doing, man?
That should be the first story you talk about is last night.
Nobody cares about it here.
I will say that. I was shocked that the Lions didn't win that. I mean, I'm proud they did. Because
Don't be shocked, Joe.
No, I didn't.
That is an overwhelming performance in Baltimore.
Exactly.
You know what? I was able to pick
I didn't actually believe that was going to take place. So, I mean, massive deal that Detroit was able to win that game. That was a huge win.
You don't follow up 40-something points against the trash team against a really good team and expect to just come in there, lollygag, and win the game, all right? Wolverine Dan, the stage is yours.
You know, I expect I should know better. My sports, my life mean nothing here. I get it. That's fine. That's fine. But you know what? I'm gonna lay out some numbers that you need to hear about.
Okay.
Hutchinson, 18 consecutive games with a hit on the quarterback, franchise record. 7 sacks last night for the Lions, and no sacks for the Ravens. And the sack came because we had a practice player, Ali Aqid Mohammed, that all of a sudden, I think he's digging it, and it shows that he's digging it. And that's the other end of the bookend that we needed. And this defense, if they stay healthy, oh my, okay. 4th down conversions, 3 for 3. All right. And Ravens, 0 for 1, 426 total yards that the Lions put up, average almost 7 yards a play.
Sheesh.
Two drives, guys, that were over 95 yards to pay dirt. That is crazy. Rushing yards, 224 to 85. Thank you, Alabama, for your running back, and you, Ohio State. Appreciate it. Okay. Bottom line is this, man. I'm telling you, I'm so stoked, and I'm going to go one step further. I want to bet on Harbaugh. When I get to the casino, I'm putting some money on Harbaugh because I think it's going to be a Detroit, Michigan setup where I win everywhere.
Oh,
okay, simple as that. The bottom line is, fellas, you must admit you don't want to play the Lions because of the real deal, kicking some ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
telling you, fellas. And it's a lot of Bama players on there. And you know what? I don't mind a Bama player when they come to the Lions. But when they play in Bama, I'm not crazy about that. But when they come to the Lions, I accept them because they're part of Restore the Roar. And I'll tell you, last year we could have won the Super Bowl. We had decimated injuries. If we don't have injuries, this team could be for sure in the playoffs and for sure be at the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, I'm covering my bases. I got my Lions winning the Super Bowl. I got the Chargers winning the Super Bowl. You know, I cover my bases, bro, and I'm so stoked. This was a real deal performance. You guys need to talk all day long about it. Forget everything else, all right? And Bruce Pearl, he's going to be a politician anyway. So, and you know what we do with politicians? We put chum in the water in the ocean, sink the boat, and there you go.
There you go. Good stuff from you, Wolverine Dan, and that Jack Campbell kid out of Iowa. Big Ten kid right there. Absolute stud all night. The spies, the defensive schemes, everything worked against the Ravens last night.
And Laporta from Iowa, too. Iowa represented it last night.
No doubt about
keep it up, fellas. Keep talking about the Lions, okay? Stop this other silly stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Good stuff,
Go
Wolverine.
So Bruce Pearl.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that and the Georgia Bulldogs. On the other side, Jordan Hill from Dog 247 will join us. And don't worry, we will get back into the NFL conversation in the second hour as we got the NFL rundown for you to keep you guys up to date on all the matchups you might have missed. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, college football talk is on the docket here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Looking deep downfield, looking for Williams. Comes back, makes the catch, trying to split defenders. Makes them bang into each other. Stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, scores. Ryan Williams, one play, 75 yards.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window. Now is the time to take advantage of their huge end of summer sale and get ready for the fall. Right now, all windows are 35% off. All exterior doors are 40% off. Now you get the whole door, just the price is 40% off. And get this, 0% interest for 18 months, as in no interest, nada, none. As always, the estimates are free, as is the lifetime warranty. To make an appointment, go to yourhomewindow.com. That's yourhomewindow.com.
At Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy, it's not just what we do, it's who we are. Founded in 2003 by Huntsville natives Scott Johnson and Todd Hayes, Johnson & Hayes brings exceptional care to every patient through an all-star team of highly trained physical therapists. From sports performance to post-op rehab, dizziness, women's health, and more. With 7 locations across North Alabama, expert care is always close to home. Learn more at johnsonandhayes.com. Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy, where extraordinary care meets exceptional outcomes. At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live heartfully. Live Stella.
At Wheelchairs for Warriors, serving America's heroes is our mission. With your support, we serve veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty across the United States of America, providing them custom-fit, complex rehab mobility solutions to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. Join the mission at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We should be dry as we head into the overnight. Early into your Wednesday morning, temperatures dropping into the lower 70s. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky Wednesday afternoon, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. And again, we're talking about the opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be on the stronger end of the spectrum, bringing some heavy rain and some gusty winds. We drop into the upper 60s as we head into the overnight.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Talk Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Blood on the carpet, cigarettes burn holes where my heart is. Temple, you know that's what.
Hello and welcome back into the show. John Abraham, Joe Hunk here on a rainy Tuesday. We appreciate you guys joining us, and always remember our friends over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration. When this rain is coming down, you might see a few shingles fly off your roof. Don't worry about it. FlemingHSV.com, the place to get your free quote today. Remember that they show up. Similar to our brand new guest that we're about to talk with from Dawgs 24/7, Jordan Hill. And Joe, of course, a lot of conversation going into this week. It's focused around this one game that's happening in Athens, Georgia, between the Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs. Always a great matchup. Last year, the Tide were able to get up big, but it still ended in a historical fashion. What a wonderful game that was in Tuscaloosa. But now the Georgia Bulldogs looking to change the rhetoric just this weekend. And, of course, you can listen to it on our airways on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. But Jordan joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And, Jordan, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, doing great, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on and getting ready for another edition of Georgia, Alabama, and I have no doubt this one will be just as entertaining as the last few we've had a chance to watch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this one's a little bit more intriguing just because there's that one right next to Alabama. And this is also a very difficult game to get in, as tickets are soaring from 413 to 550 to over 1,000 easily. Talk about all the hype that's going into this game and what you're really looking at when it comes down to it.
Well, you talk about the hype. I mean, the thing that I'm still honestly struggling to wrap my mind around, this is the first time Alabama has played in Athens in 10 years.
Wow.
Think about the fact the last time Alabama came to Athens, Kirby Smart was the defensive coordinator. That was his last year on the staff at Alabama before he came back to Georgia. So I think this is a highly anticipated game. And it was funny last year, talking to Kirby Smart throughout that season. Georgia had a really tough road draw in 2024, having to go to Tuscaloosa, having to go to Austin, having to go to Oxford. And when he was asked about it during the season, there was more than once that he was like, yeah, I'm really glad, that the home away flip in 2025. So this is part of what honestly is the best home slate Georgia has had in several years. I mean, having Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss come to town. People are excited about that. So, no, it's highly anticipated. And, I think it's a big opportunity for Georgia. The one knock that Kirby Smart has had during his time as Georgia head coach is he struggled to beat Alabama. Now, I think it would be a little dishonest not to point to the one win was a big one for the national title on the line in January 2022. But still, at this point, and I believe this number goes beyond, in fact, I know it does, his time as head coach, but Alabama's won 9 of the last 10 against Georgia. So good opportunity, get them at home, get an Alabama team that I think is still dangerous, but, showed a lot of flaws in week one. Big opportunity for Georgia, but it's going to be up to them to go out there Saturday night and make enough plays and find a way to get it done.
Well, and going into with this, we always talk about how we're still, within like the first month of the season, we're also trying to answer some questions. For you in watching this, how are you feeling and what questions do you still have about this team that you are looking to see happen and improve in going into against Alabama?
Well, for Georgia, and a lot of it kind of is the same looking at the Alabama side, especially as someone who doesn't watch Alabama as close as I do Georgia. But for Georgia, I mean, it's the line of the scrimmage. And I think that it's pretty cliche, but I think that's where this game is going to be won. Offensive line was a bit of a struggle the last time out back in week 3 at Tennessee. Had some injuries on the offensive line. The right side of the line was sort of playing musical chairs, not only because of injury, but just because of play and level of play during that game. So how do they play on that offensive line? Gave up 3 sacks against Tennessee. One of them led to a fumble that, had Tennessee fully capitalized, probably puts the game away. The Georgia defense deserves a lot of credit. They forced a field goal in an opportunity where Tennessee scores a touchdown, I mean, that would have been a 2-possession lead that Georgia might not have been able to come back from. And then on the other side of the ball, Georgia struggled to this point to really pressure quarterbacks. Sacks are not a statistic that even some of Georgia's better defenses, they haven't really racked up a ton of sacks. But this year, I feel like even just creating pressure, Kirby talks a lot about havoc rate, just making the quarterback make a decision, not giving him a ton of time. I think that's been inconsistent to this point. When I went back and watched Alabama's loss to Florida State to open the season, I thought a big reason why Florida State was so successful was they were able to pressure Ty Simpson. They were able to make him uncomfortable. And I think that's going to be a key on Saturday for Georgia. They can't let him sit back there in the pocket. Kirby talked about him on Monday and said he might be the hottest quarterback in college football with how he's played, the lack of incompletions in these last few games. I think they have to go into this game understanding they cannot give him a ton of time, not only because of his talent, but, it's no secret what Alabama's got in their receiving core. Ryan Williams, Kirby really talked up Jeremy Bernard, and I think that was well-deserved with what he's done to this point in the season. Line of scrimmage, being able to win those fights, I think whoever gets the upper hand, in terms of both lines of scrimmage, it's going to go a long way in determining who leaves Athens with a win on Saturday night.
Jordan Hill from Dawgs 247 is our guest, and talk about how much you learned about this Bulldogs team against Tennessee, because the first 2 weeks, couldn't really prove too much. Marshall came in, they lost by a lot, and then Austin Peay came in, and although they had a win over MTSU going into that game, nobody was looking at them like they were competitors. So with Georgia, the first 2 games didn't show much of anything, but that Tennessee game, I feel like, showed everything. Talk about the identity of this team, at least what you've gathered coming out of Knoxville.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks were kind of difficult, and I wrote about this after the Austin Peay game because there were a lot of folks over on our message board that were concerned. It was a 28-6 win, and I basically said, for better or worse, we're going to learn about this team at Tennessee. I had kind of said that all off season, thinking, it's probably 2 blowout wins for Georgia, and everybody's feeling good and understanding, level of difficulty isn't what you're going to face in the SEC. Week 1, that was the case. Week 2, it was kind of a lackluster win over Austin Peay. But the biggest takeaway for me, what we learned in the game against Tennessee, is Gunnar Stockton can make the plays Georgia has to make to win games. I thought he played really well. The touchdown pass to London Humphreys, I don't think he could have thrown that any better. And, 28-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 6, and that must-have moment, big for him. I thought the secondary is going to be an area that they have to step up on Saturday. They really struggled against Tennessee, made some uncharacteristic mistakes, especially on deep throws, explosive play opportunities. It seemed like Tennessee capitalized time after time. So seeing that group have to step up is very clear. But going back to the offense, I was really impressed with the receivers around Gunnar, and that was a big area of focus this offseason. The wide receivers last year struggled tremendously for Georgia, wound up leading the nation in drops, and they made a concerted effort to flip that room. Go get Zachariah Branch from USC, go get Noah Thomas from Texas A&M. You bring back Colby Young, you bring back Dylan Bell, and then London Humphreys, who played sporadically last year but is playing a bigger role this time around. I think they've just done a good job. Obviously, Gunnar has to make the throws and he has to make the plays, but they've surrounded him with skill players, and they've surrounded him with guys. If a defense decides, look, we're not letting Zach Branch beat us, we'll bracket him, we'll put 2 guys on him. There's enough guys that they can keep the offense moving forward. And I'd say the same for Alabama with what they've done with their receiving core. So, yeah, Tennessee was an opportunity. I described it as a proving ground going into that game. I thought Georgia passed the test on offense, gave up more plays than we're used to on defense. But I think a lot of credit on that front goes to Tennessee and that passing offense. They capitalized on some key Georgia mistakes, and their mistakes Georgia can't replicate on Saturday, or they're going to take another loss to Alabama.
Well, it was actually kind of weird how it happened in Knoxville. It was almost similar to what happened in Tuscaloosa last year. Tennessee able to get up really quick, but of course Georgia able to battle themselves back into competition. But you're talking a lot about Georgia. Of course, you've been studying the opponents as well. This is not Jalen Milroe's offense. This is Ty Simpson's and, of course, Ryan Grubb's. talk about the changes that you've seen with this Alabama Crimson Tide team and how much more difficult it'll be for Georgia to kind of defend against it.
I'm just really curious to see how they go about playing Ty Simpson, because he can move a little bit, but you look at the game last year in Tuscaloosa and just Jalen Milroe's ability to run, it just seemed like that was something Georgia could never really account for. And you go back and watch last year's game, especially the first half, I don't know that I saw better throws from Jalen Milroe. I think about his touchdown pass to Jam Miller. Yeah. It looked like something out of Madden. I mean, it was just a perfect throw in a perfect moment. And, watching Alabama to start this season, again, I put a lot on their offensive line. I thought that they did not play very well in that week 1 loss to Florida State. And I think you saw, particularly in that second half, it seemed like to me Ty Simpson was really pressing. That it kind of got to him, especially because they were playing from behind. Yeah. But, you look a couple weeks later when they play Wisconsin, he just looked so much more comfortable. Counted on his receivers to make plays, and they did time after time. So, I think you have to understand Ty can move a little bit. And the biggest thing to me, if I'm Georgia, is trying to flush him from the pocket, try to make him make those difficult throws. I'm really fascinated to see how much heat Georgia brings on him, how much they're willing to blitz and say, look, we can't allow him to stand back there in the pocket and just pick us apart, because I think he's fully capable of doing that. So I'll be interested to see how the Georgia defense attacks Ty Simpson, how they try to make him uncomfortable, because I think that's the best bet. If you let him stand back there, it's not going to be a very fun night for the Georgia fans in Sanford Stadium.
Well, and going into this game compared to last year, like there was almost, I felt like periods of time, like in that first quarter where Georgia kind of walked in with that, hey, we're Georgia, we know what's going to happen in this. Has Kirby addressed any of that about going into this year? I know they're playing at home. It's going to be a different vibe, but also making sure that you don't have the same mentality going into this game as what you may have had going into last year's.
I think the biggest thing that Kirby does a really good job of, really no matter who the opponent is making it about this team. And I honestly think it helps in this era of college football. I mean, think about, from the Georgia perspective, this time last year, Zach Branch was at USC. We talked to him on Monday, and he said, yeah, I got to watch some of that game last year, but, obviously he's still kind of getting caught up on what this series means to both teams. Just the way the transfers work and the way you lose guys to the NFL. I think that this is two teams that do look pretty significantly different than they did a year ago. And I think that helps, from the coaching perspective from Kirby Smart, that he's not tied up on, the guys who did play in this game, which there are several, getting caught up in what happened last year. I think they understand this is a new opportunity. I think that they've approached it the right way, understanding that, when you play a team you beat last year, it doesn't really mean very much. And I think about that example with Tennessee. Georgia really held Tennessee in check after the first quarter of last November's game. You talk about this year, first quarter, Tennessee has 21 points, which was the most that Josh Heupel had scored against Georgia in 4 quarters of football in any of the previous 4 games. So I think they come in with the right mindset. I think that there is an excitement about what Sanford Stadium is going to be like, the energy, the atmosphere, the opportunity. But I think they understand that this is a very capable Alabama team, that they know that week 1 loss does not define this Alabama team. And it probably gives Alabama that chip on its shoulder, that they want to come in and show that they're the Alabama of old, and that they are capable of winning this game, which I truly think they are. And I think that Georgia understands that as well.
Jordan Hill from Dawgs 247 doing a wonderful job of breaking down all things in this game. And Jordan, I want to know this, because this is a very interesting question to ask, and you'll hear it here in a second. But last time, of course, Alabama was in Athens. Jake Coker was the quarterback. That's just putting things into perspective. You got to go back to 2003, the last time a Georgia team was able to win in Athens. Is a field storm possibly going to happen if Georgia does get the win? Is that something that might happen? I mean, this is Georgia we're talking about. This is a totally different team. This is at the top of the SEC. We're not talking about an Ole Miss getting a win over these types of teams at their place. I'm talking about a Georgia team. Is that a possibility, a Georgia field storm, if they win this game?
I can't say what the protocol is as far as down on the field, if they will literally stop it from happening. But, yeah, I think it's entirely possible.
Wow.
And it is pretty wild. The last time that Georgia stormed the field, 2000, when they beat Tennessee, and that just speaks to the run Tennessee had been on against Georgia. I mean, they had dominated the 1990s. You think about what Tennessee was able to do in the SEC East. But I think that you'd have to say it's possible. And I think, that is probably the one team where I can see Georgia fans storming the field. And, again, it goes back to the point of you talk about the success Kirby's had. He's won 2 national championships, the SEC titles, the playoff appearances. But the thorn in Georgia's side over and over again has been Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at 2023, Georgia loses by 3 in the SEC title game. That keeps Georgia out of the playoff. You think about those early SEC title games, I think that would have been probably 2018, 2019 against Alabama, and Alabama finds a way to win. The national championship game in Kirby's second year, Alabama winning with Tua throwing the touchdown pass. So, yeah, I don't know if I would I think that there is a pretty good chance if Georgia wins this game that the fans will storm the field. I don't know exactly, how hard the athletic department is going to work to stop that from happening, but this has sort of, still been Georgia's white whale.
Yeah.
They did beat them in that national title game, but there's been a lot of losses to Alabama. And if they're able to do it at home again, the fact this is the first time these two teams have played in Athens since 2015, I think there's a pretty good chance it could happen.
I mean, you go back to David Green back in 2003, the last time the Bulldogs were able to win in Athens against this Crimson Tide team. I would say that a field storm is valid. I would validate that.
It just sounds so weird to me that Georgia, who has won national championships in the last 5 years, it would think about storming the field.
It's such a rare occurrence, Joe. That's the one thing. That's one thing that gets you. But Jordan, before we get you out of here, I know Joe's got an interesting question to ask because we know you got an interesting history, not just with the Bulldogs, but around the SEC. Joe, what you got for
me? Well, it was mainly about your time in Auburn because obviously over the past 24 hours, it's kind of taken over the news around the SEC about Bruce Pearl stepping away from Auburn. We know that you worked for the Opelika Auburn News, and we was just curious about some of your time, at Auburn and covering Bruce Pearl and that basketball team and what you think.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see him retire when he did, but there have been rumors he had been weighing a chance to go into politics. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, but definitely wish Bruce well in retirement. He was a great coach to cover. One of my favorite coaches to cover in my time covering sports and being there with the Opelika Auburn News, and he's just a very media friendly guy. Talking from that perspective, and I think back to, my early experience covering SEC basketball. I feel pretty comfortable saying I know a lot more about basketball now than I did then, but Bruce never heard a dumb question. He always would help you out, give you what you needed. And I'll say, too, I think very highly of Stephen Pearl. I think that he's going to do a great job taking over for Bruce. He's a guy that, when I left Auburn, that would have been winter of 22. And not long after that, Georgia fired Tom Crean. And, when I made a coaching list of guys that I think Georgia should go after, Stephen was on it because I think he has been, the making of an SEC coach. I think that he's going to do very well in this role, taking over for Bruce. But hate to see Bruce walking away because I think he is a fantastic coach. Always a great guy to deal with as a beat writer. But I think Stephen's going to do well. And I still think Auburn basketball is in great shape. I think they'll do well this upcoming season. And I'm sure Bruce will be around some, but he'll enjoy getting a little bit more time to himself. He's got several grandkids. Get to enjoy watching Stephen take this thing over.
No doubt about that. Jordan, we appreciate your time, man. It was a wonderful conversation with you, a lot focusing on this matchup between the Alabama Crimson Tide as well as the Georgia Bulldogs. And it's crazy to really think about how much some guys up in North have really influenced the South. Of course, we talk a little bit about Nick Saban. He was in West Virginia, not too crazy. But we talk about a guy from Boston coming down south, coaching for Tennessee, painting himself orange, and having such an impact. It definitely is a special coach retiring just yesterday. And we appreciate you hopping on with us to talk not just the Bulldogs, but also a little bit about him. Let the people know where they can find your work. For all the Georgia Bulldogs fans in the area, and we know there's a lot of them, where can they find your work, brother?
Definitely, Dawgs247.com. I'm on Twitter at Jordan Davis Hill and on Twitter at Dawgs247. And go check us out on YouTube, Dawgs247, and also our podcast, the Junkyard Dogcast. We'll record live episode today, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and that should drop on our podcast feeds this afternoon. So appreciate you guys having me on, and excited to get this thing going on Saturday night.
No doubt about it, Jordan. We'll be in contact, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That is Jordan Hill from Dawgs247. Great stuff from him. We do need to hop into a break, though, but it's okay. You can get on the phone lines. We are wide open the rest of the way through. 256-576. 97.7. We'll be starting with Brandon on the other side here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Atlanta Braves are the midst of their longest winning streak since 2023. They have won 9 straight games. They're a $1.99 favorite today against the Nationals at Truist Park. 9 flat the total. Nationals plus 162 on the money line. Texas A&M laying 7 at Kyle Field against Auburn Saturday, 51.5 the total. Alabama 3-point dog at Georgia, 52.5 at Sanford Stadium in Athens. Southern Miss laying 4 at home at Jacksonville State. It's North Texas, 12.5-point home favorites against South Alabama. Falcons Sunday, 3-point dogs against the Commanders at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 45.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Firehawk Aerospace is a non-traditional defense contractor advancing the state of propulsion to strengthen the U.S. Defense Initiative. Founded in 2019, Firehawk Aerospace established early leadership in manufactured propulsion with the development of 3D printed hybrid rocket fuel grains. Visit firehawkaerospace.com to learn more. That's firehawkaerospace.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We're also talking about some scattered showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be stronger with some heavy rain that could lead to a little bit of flash flooding. We're also talking about the threat for some gusty winds. We drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky on Wednesday. Temperatures climbing into the mid 80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello and welcome back into the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk here with you guys on a Tuesday edition of the show. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Staying safe out in the rain. Calling into the show at 256-576. 97.7.
Oh.
I don't know what happened.
Oh.
Brandon joins us. Brandon, how you doing today, bro?
A little shocked. And, I talked with Drew and them this morning and love them dudes. I didn't feel like they wanted to have a real conversation about this. And if y'all want to play radio, I'll just say okay and thank you and hang up. But I'd like to have a real conversation about this Bruce Pearl situation.
Well, I mean, where do you want to start? I mean, the abruptness that's like 30 days before the season gets underway, Stephen Pearl coming in and being the new head coach. I mean, which one do you want to go with?
Okay. This whole setup of when he is retiring was designed to make sure that these players did not leave and he had this roster. Because where are you going to go right now and transfer right now? You could, but I'm not sure what the implications are. You're way past drop ad, and you're way into the semester. So how that would work, I don't know, but I feel like all this was planned. This was not sudden, and I feel like if he left in the off season or after the Final Four, he would not have this roster. Y'all disagree?
I don't disagree with you. The kids, I mean, they do have the ability to leave, but at the same time, everybody's rosters are pretty much set up and ready to go for the season.
I don't know how the NCAA does this with basketball, because I think that with the transfer portal, we have looked at this all from a football standpoint. And I think that everybody thinks of this as, the December, the transfer window for here, the transfer window for there, when you can sign up for classes, when you can enroll, that sort of thing. We've always looked at it from a football standpoint. So I don't 100% have the information about how a basketball player could do it.
It's the same thing. It's a 30-day window,
right,
when a coach is
but
out.
But in that 30-day, like for instance, could one Auburn player transferring and go to Duke and be able to enroll in classes and be able to be eligible to play?
I don't believe so.
I mean, that's why I'm asking the question, because I don't know. Now, could he possibly transfer, sit out the rest of the fall semester, and then be able to start when conference play begins? Like, that may be the avenue that an Auburn player could take if he wanted to leave, that he could do this. Like, and I do see where you're coming at it with the, hey, look, they really don't have any options. No, if they want to play every single game this season, you're probably right. They don't have any options as far as transferring away now. They could probably still hit the transfer portal. They could enroll in December or December / the beginning of January and be available to start for conference play That, I believe, is a possibility.
But do we think that the players also got caught off guard just like us? I mean, do we think it was the same type of shock experience for them?
Unless somebody comes out and says, "Oh, I knew and decided to stay," I'll believe that because Drew and them want to say this morning they want to talk about John Shire. Well, let's talk about John Shire. He won a state championship and was a high school All-American. He also went to Duke and won a championship there and was under Coach K. And when Coach K got ready to go, he said, "I recruited this dude. He played for me. I know what he is, and he is my pick to be the replacement." That is far and away different from this situation.
No.
He has said this guy's been a winner at everything he ever does. I think he's like top 2 or 3 in points scored in the state of Illinois history. Shire has been a stud from day one. He was a captain on that team that won the championship. He is leadership material. And I'm not banging Steven. I'm just saying when you put those two next to each other, they're not the same.
All right,
and Bruce
hold on. Let's get you over to the next segment because I really am interested in this because it's the point of view nobody else has had so far.
Yeah.
So I am interested in the way you're saying. So hold on right there. We'll come back to start the hour. We'll continue. Winchester, hop in on WZZN TV if you want to get on the phone lines as well. 256-576-977 as we continue on the Blitz on this Tuesday, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
Makes a catch, makes them bang into each other, stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, scores!
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide start SEC play against the Georgia Bulldogs. Our coverage begins at 3:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 256-208-9000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Does it really matter which dealership you plan to buy from? Short answer is yes. Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. Taking a little time to find out about the dealership before you buy can have a big payoff. Customer reviews let you know what others think, and that's good. But industry reviews can tell you even more. Woody Anderson Ford is proud to have been selected as Ford's Triple Crown winner, an award that only 1% of the top Ford dealers in the country are able to earn. This is a big deal, and here's why. Ford's Triple Crown is based on superior customer service, sales excellence, and over-the-top service delivery. And again, only 1% of the top Ford dealers in all of America achieve this goal. Woody Anderson Ford is top of the top. So when it's time to pull the trigger on your next car, truck, or SUV, we'd be honored if you'd give us a chance to show you how we earned our Triple Crown status. Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and we hope to see you soon.
John Abraham here with Bobcat of Huntsville. Men, the season is upon us. This is what all the playbooks have prepared us for. But here, there's no need for a 3-4 defense because we're not talking about the football season. We're talking about the get-done season. Starting August 13th, Bobcat of Huntsville will have a full line of steel products for you to throw at those jobs you've been putting off until now. So put away those fantasy draft notes and pick up the tool you've been waiting for because it's time to get it done. Bobcat of Huntsville, run off of Highway 20 in Madison.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by Vector Security Champions Lane, the best pregame fan fest in college football. Visit championslane.com for updates throughout the season. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On today's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by Alabama wide receiver Jeremy Bernard.
That's my guy, man. I love Grub. He's always intense. He's a very diligent guy. You know, he hones in on the details. And so, I mean, I answer this question a lot. Like, the system isn't really changing a whole lot, but like since he went to the NFL and came here, he's brought an offensive system here. So we know it's not so like it's not really like a college playbook to like the full extent. It's more it's all combined together. You know what I'm saying? So it gives us as an offense an opportunity to see how we're gonna conduct things on the next level and how things are ran. And then just, I mean, he's an aggressive OC, and you know he makes opportunity for the guys, you know, to make plays, and we have a lot of them. So
I'll have more in a moment. Tide fans, are you ready for game day in Tuscaloosa? Don't miss the ultimate pregame experience this season at Vector Security Champions Lane, opening 4 hours before each home game. This fan fest has everything you need to get pumped for kickoff. Located next to the Walk of Champions, you'll enjoy live music, player autographs, the best food trucks from all over Alabama, and ice-cold beer in our Legends Lounge beer garden, where there's never a cover charge. Check out championslane.com each week for the latest updates. Roll Tide! Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Vector Security Champions Lane. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We should be dry as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. Temperatures dropping into the lower 70s. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. And again, we're talking about the opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be on the stronger end of the spectrum, bringing some heavy rain and some gusty winds. We drop into the upper 60s as we head into the overnight.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
All right, second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. Yep. On this Tuesday, you can hop in on the phone lines at 256-576-4977. As always, brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, which, depending on where you are at right now, you are dealing with a lot of rain. Yeah. So you may just want to pay attention to that roof a little bit more, and just in case there is an issue, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, so you need to give a call.
If you're chilling out right now and you're working at your home studio and you see a few shingles fall off your roof, dude, that is the time that you start typing in on that computer, FlemingHSV.com. Just type in a little bit more. Fill out that free quote. And remember that Fleming always shows up. It's as easy as that, guys. And you could be rested assured while watching your favorite sports that no drips are going to be leaking through that roof.
No drip whatsoever.
No drippage.
So we've been talking a lot about Bruce Pearl. Obviously, he retired yesterday afternoon. It was a surprise that it was happening at this point in time.
Yeah, pretty big deal. Pretty big story.
Pretty big deal. Here. Obviously, Auburn starts their season next month. You know the team's already been practicing because, again, every day as I walk out of the office at UAH, the basketball team at UAH is practicing. Mm-hmm. So you know that they've been practicing, and now it is to a point where Bruce Pearl has made the announcement that he is going to retire, and that the Pearls and Auburn University are in agreement that Stephen Pearl is the next head coach. There is no interim tag. He is the next guy. And so we are getting your opinions on, obviously, Bruce Pearl retiring and the Auburn program going forward. And Brandon was on with us, and he was getting to an interesting point that, again, I don't think a lot of people have really thought about at this point in time, with this being so fresh, is about the basketball players. And now this 30-day window is opening up for them that they can transfer away, just like it does in football. But the season's also starting in about 30 days. So what options do they really have? So, Brandon, you can kind of continue with that thought process because, no, I don't think a lot of people have thought about this path and what it does to affect the football players right now.
Well, and I'm of the mindset that this was done intentionally to make sure he has this roster because that's his best chance to succeed. Now, being an Alabama guy, I do not hate Bruce Pearl. I don't like the whole Crimson Crane crap that he was doing. I despise that a little bit. I think it's funny that his last home loss was to Alabama on a heartbreaker. He got what was coming to him on that one. But overall, he did make basketball better. They hired him and we hired Avery. Okay, and we saw how that worked out, right? There's no comparison between the two.
Nope.
So he made basketball better. And this last year, what happened? Game day was at one location, and the other one within what, 2 weeks?
Absolutely, yeah.
When has that ever happened before?
No, and that's what the impact is that he did have on the basketball landscape in the state of Alabama. Absolutely.
So I'm saying I felt like when he came here, he was good. He made everybody up their game, and don't got nothing against Stephen, but I just look at this situation and say, they meant for this to happen, and if he is not successful quickly, I think these people are going to be short-tempered. And Neil, I've already talked to people this morning that are like, how could we do this? There's a lot of fans that are looking around going, what? We handed the keys to a Final Four Ferrari to somebody that is the coach's son? Not to say that he might not have experience over the last 7 years. People said he's recruited these people. I'm just saying this guy was a pivotal hire for this whole conference. And people are talking about John Shire and people, and I'm saying ain't no comparison between Stephen Pearl and John Shire. None. You put their resumes together and Shire runs laps around him in every category. Mike Krzyzewski picked him to be the next head coach because he said, I've seen enough of him from high school to playing for me to coaching for me that I know is that he is the guy. Yeah. And I don't feel that is that in this situation. And I wonder, what is the conference going to be if you don't have somebody as good as Pearl on the other side? Because Auburn and Alabama had become a premier matchup around the country for people to watch. And I don't want to see it go back to what it was.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not good for any of us.
No. Now, the thing that we do not know right now, and I think this is that part where I like to say that, we only know about 10% of actually what's going on in an athletic program. Agreed. A lot of times, is the question about how many other universities had already reached out to Stephen Pearl and, the back way and been like, hey, what do you think? I honestly was shocked after about I would probably say year 6 or 7 that he was still there, because I felt as that was the natural path that you would go to eventually becoming a head coach, is you would go somewhere else, like, your Arkansas States or something like that. And you would go to try to win there before you kind of prove yourself. And I'm wondering, if those phone calls have been had, and if let's just say like in Iowa, or not in Iowa, but like in Illinois or somebody like that had possibly contacted him and he said, no, I'm good, because there was always that conversation backhand of like, look, man, the plan is for you to eventually take over. That's part of it. The other part is, I wonder how much he has been coaching himself in the practices all off season.
Would be good to know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like what you're saying is, hey, like you are kind of like a lot of us. Like sometimes you get that guy that says, yeah, I didn't even know I was getting traded until I saw it on X. Like, it was that sort of thing. Or has Bruce been very open with the players and been like, look, guys, there is I'm going to be honest with you guys. You've committed to the university. I totally understand if you want out, but the plan is for, we're letting Stephen, he's been taking control more and more over the past year or two, and this is going to be his program. And the players may have been like, dude, Stephen's basically been running everything for the last year or two anyway. Yeah. Like, I wonder if that's been the case.
And I would also side with that being the case because, of course, the 7 years prior, he's been on the staff. It's been able to be like co-coaching and all of that, and it builds him up. He's learning from the guy that has built this program up here in the recent decade. But at the same time, why would it come 30 days before the season gets underway? Why didn't it come a little bit earlier? Do you think it is because players would have transferred out, or do you think that they already knew and it was just this was the right time for it to come to the news?
It's really strange. Either they knew or they're caught off guard and they're being quiet. And I'm really surprised that Joe don't have Chad Baker Mazara's number to call him and get his total story on this. I'd be interested to hear what he had to say and what he knew.
Well, that's something you got to look for the drive. Steve's got that Rolodex of the gods. So
yeah, but we need to share with Joe a little bit. I mean, he is the Auburn dude on. He is the objective Auburn dude on this show that will take shots at Auburn when they are warranted and when they're not warranted, but when they're funny, and he just deserves that.
Well, and I think that with this, it's kind of like with the Hugh Freeze. Like I was going to be honest with you about Jackson Arnold and saying like he wasn't all those sacks on Saturday were not all his fault in this. It was play calling a lot of times. So that I'm going to be honest with it, but I do believe that there's been this conversation for a period of time about how long is Bruce Pearl for the basketball world and making this transition. Like, look, if this was something that Bruce had thought about now, that these players coming into this had been told that from other coaches and like, look, man, I don't even know if he's going to be here for another year. Like, I just don't even know.
We heard the whispers, and I kind of thought this would be his last year. And then when all this started kicking up, I was like, well, he's probably going to say, hey, this is going to be my last year.
Right.
And
absolutely.
then when they dropped this bomb, I was like, okay, what's about to happen? Did he get caught with hookers at a hotel? Did he got cancer? Is something going on that we're waiting for the rest of it to come out? And like people waited for Nick Saban, they waited for the rest of it to come out. And what came out was he just decided he was done, which may be the same case here. There may not be a big shoe to drop.
Yeah, Brandon.
All I'm saying is, if Stephen Pearl, he better be on it, and he better not pull a Kamala.
No doubt about it. Good stuff from Brandon, keeping that conversation going, and you can as well, 256-576-97.7. We head back to the phone lines. We got Greg on with us. Greg, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fine. One thing I thought I would add to this is there is precedent for this, and I'll just put my hat on here as the resident old guy. Dean Smith did this the day before practice started, and what these coaches do, they do that to make sure the guy gets hired that they want to get hired.
Yeah.
And it didn't necessarily work out for Bob Guthridge when Dean Smith did that, but I think as fans we want to think that when a coach leaves or he retires or whatever it is that Pearl's doing down the road, we want to think that the first thing they think is about what the players think and how the players are going to think. And I think when you look at it objectively, what that factor is not near as high as we want to believe it is. They're more concerned with, in a lot of cases, who replaces them. And I think that's what happened here. I mean, he left. This was, he didn't just wake up yesterday and decide to retire.
Yeah.
And this is more to make sure who the successor is. The big question is just what's he going to do? Is he going to run for Senate or not? And I don't think 65 years old. At 65 years old, he's going to the beach. I mean, he's not wired like that.
No, absolutely not.
So it'll just be interesting to see. But I just thought I'd chime in. There is precedent for this, and it basically is people solidifying who the successor is.
Good stuff from you, Greg. Appreciate you calling in and getting in on the conversation as well.
See you, sir.
And it is interesting, though, because, again, a lot of people like to look towards nepotism. But at the same time, you are coaching up this guy that has instant contact to Bruce Pearl, all right? So if you take out the whole factor of father and son, we're talking about a dude that has been in contact with Bruce Pearl for the last 7 years straight, and also he's probably pinned up on his contacts in his phone. I mean, these guys are one-to-one, and as you saw, even with Joe hopping on the show just the other week, he comes in, does a great job for Tom. It's something that he's been built with. He's been in this environment for so long that it is second nature to him. For a guy like Stephen Pearl, second nature to him. We're talking about a guy in Bruce Pearl who didn't even play basketball in high school, let alone in Pee Wee. This is a football player, gets injured, and then he turns into a coach. So, again, this is something that could birth another great era of Auburn basketball, but there are going to be the skeptics, and on top of that, there are going to be people who are still just a little shook because of the news coming out just like that yesterday afternoon.
Well, I think that with this it is the unknown of it. Like, yes, could Bruce Pearl have done exactly what Dean Smith did and try to set him up for success? First off, as not only a head coach just trying to plan your exit, you're wanting to try to make sure the university is still in play. Also, again, as a father, he's also trying to set his son up for success. Let's be honest. But at the same time as well, we still don't know about the level in which Stephen Pearl has been active on this team. This genuinely could be a situation where, we now look back and we have Auburn beat writers or people that have been actually had the ability to go into practice, kind of see how much he, being Stephen as an assistant coach, has had on these players. And so these players are more in a way of saying, all right, well, if Coach Pearl is leaving, well, at least Coach Steven, I would assume that's what they called him. Coach Steven's still staying.
Coach Stevie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Coach Steve's still staying. Okay, cool. Then if he's still here, then everything's going to kind of stay the same. This is what we are. Okay, that's great. I think that in that way, because we don't know how much Stephen Pearl was drawing up plays in the timeouts. We don't know how much Bruce was letting him have a hand on this team. We know about the defensive stuff because, he's literally every single outlet has been like defensive specialist and defensive minded and all this other stuff about, defensive wizard and all these things that you've heard about to describe him. You don't know how much he has been running the practices over the course of the last year or two where, Bruce was the head, but now Steven has really been the one that's been kind of in control of a lot of things. And this may not even be a situation for the players where the players are like, okay, cool. Like, all right. Like this is just basically making it official as what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I doubt any player is just going to be that nonchalant about it. He has been with this program for a majority of these players' tenures. And of course, this goes all the way back to 2014, whenever he joined Auburn in the first place after he was working with TJ Hackett or something. He was out because he couldn't do college basketball. But his career has definitely been successful. It's been amazing, and it's good to throw out the goods, but of course you still got to focus on some of the controversies. And I feel like this is just going to be yet another controversy until we see what Steven can truly do. But if you guys want to keep the conversation going on the other side, you can. 256-576-9770. If not, we're getting into some more college football talk, possibly getting into a little bit of the NFL news. We'll see how the wind rises on the other side of the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as well as WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
There's a lot of talk these days about who's the biggest. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. Bigger doesn't equal better.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. We know we're not the biggest. We don't want to be.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're big enough to handle your case and get you the help you need,
but small enough to welcome you. Where you're never just a number, you're part of our family.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
John Abraham here with Bobcat of Huntsville. Men, the season is upon us. This is what all the playbooks have prepared us for. But here, there's no need for a 3-4 defense because we're not talking about the football season. We're talking about the get-done season. Starting August 13th, Bobcat of Huntsville will have a full line of steel products for you to throw at those jobs you've been putting off until now. So put away those fantasy draft notes and pick up the tool you've been waiting for because it's time to get it done. Bobcat of Huntsville, run off of Highway 20 in Madison.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Everything litty, I love when it's hot. Turn to the city, I broke out the notch. Got some more minutes, I keep me a knot. I created history, it made me a lot. He tried to diss me and it no fox. We call him Chaucer cause they gonna chop. Took her out of violence cause of...
Still got about 38 minutes remaining on the Blitz on this Tuesday. You can hop in and talk about Bruce Pearl as well as the fact that Alabama and Georgia's playing this weekend. At least for today,
pretty big deal.
Has kind of just taken a back seat to what is kind of going on right now with Bruce Pearl and the fact that he's stepping away. Don't forget that tonight, The Drive is going to be live on location at the Furniture Factory, so you can go down and hang out with those guys, and then immediately following that, you can hang out and listen to probably the most annoying baseball team in all of sports right now, the Atlanta Braves. Would you like to take a guess right now of how many games the Atlanta Braves have won in a row?
9.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They've won 9 games in a row.
I've been keeping up with the Braves bunch.
They are now 6.5 games back of the wild card spot, the final one. But sad thing is, there's only 5 games remaining in the season, so they've been eliminated.
They can't do it.
Now they choose to go on a big 9-game winning streak.
Well, half of the teams that they're playing are trash, Joe. They're playing the freaking Washington Nationals again. We were having this conversation last week.
They just swept the Detroit Tigers. I didn't hear Wolverine Dan talk about that.
Everybody, look, Tom was talking about how they're having a meltdown right now. The Tigers don't even need to really do anything, all right? Do they, Joe? I mean, they're locked up for the playoffs. They're ready to go. I get that they could up their standings and all that, whatever. I don't even know what is exactly going on with them. But the Braves right now, yes, looking like a good team. The competition they're playing is not good. A Nationals team that is last in their division and a Detroit team, by the way, that is sleeping into the playoffs.
They shouldn't be sleeping because they're only now 1 game up on the Cleveland Guardians
Well,
of that. And here's the sad thing.
Show up then.
Cleveland Guardians are at the moment tied for the final wild card spot. So if you lose to the Guardians for the wild card and for the playoffs for the AL Central, you're out of the playoffs.
Well, they wanted to make things interesting, Joe. They have to play the Guardians today, tomorrow, and the day after that. But also Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they got to play the Boston Red Sox. All right? And let's just be honest. It shouldn't be too challenging of a series. But at the same time.
In what way? Boston is also in the playoffs.
Boston's not good. Boston's not good.
They're in the playoffs.
This is the Red Sox we're talking about.
Is it just because the Yankee glasses? Is that what it is?
No.
Okay, no, it has nothing to do with the fact that right now Boston is only 3 games back of the Yankees for the second.
They've been 4-6.
The top wild card spot.
Last 10 games, 4-6. They're not doing too hot right now either. All right.
I'm just saying that you bashing the Red Sox, they're a playoff team.
Fine. The Braves have been
playing the Orioles.
The Braves have been playing some stout baseball.
It's annoying is what it is. Yeah. I don't need a 9-game winning streak in September when you're eliminated. I needed a 9-game winning streak at the beginning of August. Look, that's what I needed.
I was trying to figure out a reason to just rationalize why they're playing well. It's not because they're better now than they were earlier, but because, of course, these other teams just don't really care. But I will admit, the Braves baseball that we're getting to witness, even though it's hardly on our airways now.
It's because we have a lot of football.
Stout. It is more stout. And yes, it's because we have all the football. Like the Alabama-Georgia game that will be on our airways this weekend, which you guys can hop in on the conversation as
Not
well.
Alabama, the Braves.
Yeah, Alabama's awesome.
Dumb.
Agree with me. Alabama's awesome, right? Joe, don't agree with me. Don't even say anything.
I'm not. You know why? Here's the truth.
Because the Alabama listeners are going to get mad at you?
No. Because you know why?
Why?
Because who did we talk about yesterday? About a team that when are we going to start giving them respect?
Oh, we're getting a phone call.
Yeah, we're getting a phone call. That's it. We're talking about that with Missouri and about how when are we going to start giving them respect?
Oh,
who does Missouri play in a couple weeks?
Alabama. That's not going to be a challenging game, Joe.
Who's to say that Alabama's going to be ranked when that game happens? I mean, genuinely think about that. They're 19th in the country right now. Who is to say that Alabama's going to be ranked when they play Missouri? Like, it sounds asinine in a thought process of Alabama not being ranked after being ranked for basically a decade. But they're already, 19th in the country? If they lose to Georgia, 2 touchdowns?
I mean, theoretically, there is a chance that they could be unranked, but 2 touchdowns, I mean, I don't know about that. I think this is going to be a very close game. Even if Alabama loses,
I'm not saying that Georgia's going to be about 2 touchdowns the whole game. I'm just saying is if Georgia's up by a touchdown and they're on the 1-yard line with 45 seconds to go,
Joe,
you've got to run a play.
You said this as well. It doesn't matter. The rankings early in the season do not matter, all right? And it's not going to matter because Alabama could still come out and be a playoff team, similar to how South Carolina was last year.
No, but here's the other thing. Alabama plays Georgia this weekend. Who they got next weekend?
Is it in Mizzou?
No. Vandy.
Oh yeah. That's yeah.
Is Vanderbilt playing is Vanderbilt right now playing better or worse than Alabama?
The entire SEC is playing well.
No, but what I'm saying, is Vanderbilt playing better or worse than Alabama right now?
I would say it's probably a little even. It's even right now.
So if Alabama loses to Georgia.
Yeah.
And then they lose to Vandy.
They're getting Vandy at home, Joe.
It doesn't matter if they're getting Vandy at home.
It kind of matters if they're getting them at home, Joe. I get what you want to say. I get you want to speculate and say that Alabama is not going to be a good enough team to win, but at home is a different story. I will sweat and I will stand up on that podium and I will say it because we're talking about an Alabama team that doesn't lose at home. Where we were talking last year.
Did they lose to Ole Miss too? When they lost to Ole Miss?
No, that was a totally different time. Totally different coaches. Everybody different in that. All right? It's 2025 we're talking about. Get real.
That's why I'm saying it's 2025. This isn't Nick Saban, Alabama.
But it's still Alabama. Alabama is stout at home. When Vanderbilt comes into Bryant-Denny Stadium,
I'm just saying.
They're going to get, again, culture shock.
If Alabama loses to both Georgia and Vandy, they will be unranked when they play Missouri.
A lot of ifs, Joe.
It is, but it's not like I'm saying like Vanderbilt who's 2-9 or something.
We're talking about Kalen DeBoer, who is now seeing this Vanderbilt team, who's not going to sleep on this Vanderbilt team, who will play them the same way that they played just last week. The week that we're about to watch this week is about to be more of the same. I am so excited to see what this Alabama team's got about around SEC opponents, because then you could sit over there and be like, okay, I'm done speculating.
No, you have to ask the question, because we've seen them against how they play against Florida State.
Joe. Anybody within the SEC could beat Alabama. All right? Going off of last year, that was what it proved us. But Alabama still got South Carolina. They still got Missouri. They still got Georgia. They still got Vandy.
Look, I'm telling
They still got Tennessee.
I've been watching that Missouri-South Carolina game off and on over the course of the last day. That was an amazing game. And both of those teams look really legit, and both have to play Alabama.
South Carolina is going to lose to Alabama.
I'm not saying South Carolina is going
Vanderbilt's going to lose to Alabama. And again, Alabama's got to go to South Carolina. And I know last year it was very close. It was in Bryant-Denny.
And Alabama has to go to Missouri, and then they have Tennessee. There's legit thought they could go either 500 or they could go 1-3 over the course of those 4 games.
Joe, but that goes for almost everybody within the SEC. And Alabama has one of the stoutest of all the schedules.
I don't think you would say the same thing about Georgia if this was Georgia having the same schedule.
I would speculate it. Thank God we're not Florida, though.
Well, no.
I mean, they just got an uphill battle the whole way through. Alabama might have that, but I don't think it's coming as soon as you think.
No, I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying, but the opponents that they have coming up over the next 2 to 3 weeks are all games that you could say Alabama could 100% lose.
And you could also look forward and see LSU and Oklahoma and Auburn. You could see all of these opponents. This is the entire SEC, Joe. This isn't anything that's new.
But this is also Alabama.
It's a new Alabama.
Exactly.
And it's
which
an
is
Alabama.
Why the comments that you make about them cannot hold water with the way that they were 2 and 3 years ago.
And that's why I'm not going to be defending them on it, but I'm also not going to be saying that they're going to get dumped on and then they're not going to be in the top 25. Every team could lose a game against an SEC opponent. Even any team against even Kentucky. There is a sliver, there is a chance you're playing the SEC. That is what it's all about. And I love it because of that reason. And I love Alabama because that's my team. The same way I love the Cleveland Browns because they're my team. And AC, I don't know where you're coming from and have no fans, or you're not a fan of anybody, because that's not fandom. That's just liking everything. And I can't stand that. Regardless, 256-576.
Nobody's talking about him.
I wanted to bring that up because the feelings that I had about the Cleveland Browns when they beat the Packers finally get to talk about it. Golly, it's off my chest.
We don't
see,
really have to.
See, Wolverine Dan, this is what happens. You as the listener, you get to talk about your team. I don't get to talk too much about my Browns.
Who says that we care about the team he talks about?
We
don't. Call in 256-576-977. I'll be like, all right, let's go to the phone lines. John, what's up, man? There we go.
If I was a listener, I would be talking about the Browns the same way he would be talking about his team, because that's what fandoms are all about. But getting to experience the Browns beating the Packers, one of the best teams in all of football right now, that right there makes me happy to be the fan of the team that I love, and that's the Cleveland Browns. Regardless, you guys can hop in on the show. I don't know where that conversation was. I was getting heated for no reason.
You were getting heated.
I love it, though.
I say Alabama may be unranked against Missouri. And
close your mouth, Joe!
John's about to jump through a window.
You better watch yourself. I would love to jump through the window right now because it's like a slip and slide outside.
Like Jason Voorhees. I want to just pull my hand right through that window and just yank you right out. Just like, don't you dare say that about Alabama.
I wouldn't be able to jump through this one.
Somebody's got to say the truth about it. Like, look, if they lose to Georgia and they're playing a Vandy team that is not a cakewalk at all, is arguably playing as one of the top 4 teams in the SEC right now.
Has anybody said that they are right now breathing a sigh of relief because all of the tough games are over with?
No.
Alabama's got a tough slate coming up, and everybody understands
this is Alabama.
Roll Tide. What about it?
Yes. Like, this is the standard. Like, that's the whole thought. This is the standard. You shouldn't be worried.
The SEC is the standard now, all right? Nick Saban cemented his legacy with Alabama, and he's passed it off. He's passed it off.
Yeah, I think you're
deflecting. The SEC is way more challenging now than it was with Nick Saban a part of it. And I'll say that. I could say that. I can be straight up with it. Nick Saban, great coach. But either way, phone lines are wide open to you. 256-576-977. Jason wants to get in on the Wacky Dog picks. Jason, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Sorry you had to hear that.
Oh, no problem.
I think a lot of people heard that, John.
Joe's about got me talking to taking Alabama this week, but I think I need the points.
There you go.
No, I mean, look, it's And yes, Alabama can 100% pull this game out because of how talented of a team they are. But again, I am just saying that Georgia is a different football team than everybody else.
No, they're not.
Yes,
they're
they are.
not. Tennessee was showing Georgia what it was all about in that first half, and yeah, they pulled it out. But regardless,
who won at the end?
Tennessee's coach won the ball game for Georgia by hey, we're going to start playing conservative at the Georgia 45-yard line. We're going to play for a game-winning 42-yard field goal.
Yeah. We've got some time left. Hey, how about we run a play that makes the field goal harder for our kicker? Oh, look, we got a couple of more yards, but let's try to run another one. Oh, wait a second, 5-yard penalty. Let's back it up and put it on the left hash mark.
I wonder why they jump off sides. Well, because you had a play written up for them. I mean, Tennessee lost that game because Tennessee lost it.
Watch a coach want to isolate his kicker when Georgia couldn't stop him. Try to get the ball inside the 10 and kick the field goal.
They didn't have a timeout left. Like they had no timeout. They were controlling everything.
Tennessee had 2 timeouts or 1.
Yes.
They was in control, and that just blew my mind that Bobby Hill was over there playing for that.
Dang it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going with Alabama though this week?
No,
you're not.
No. He was just saying that based on how I was talking.
Right.
It's only 3
what I
points.
want is Aberville against Grissom this week. I think that'll bring me a buzz.
You talking about our game of the week that we're going to have here on the radio station.
Yeah.
Can't believe
it's almost October, so I'm thinking Aberville.
Albertville is a 6-point dog to Grissom this week.
Thank God it's not as crazy as last week. Sparkman never should have been a 12-point underdog to Huntsville, and that went down. That line went down, but when you picked it, or when one of our listeners picked it, that right there was like so surprising to me.
Right now, Mae Jemison is a 9-point dog to Sparkman.
That's not see, some of these lines are dumb.
Sparkman's got a good team. They're going to start flexing their muscles towards the end of the season.
They might put 50 points up on that Mae Jemison team. No disrespect, but that is a very talented Sparkman squad.
We don't have any hurricanes in the area, right? That's what hurt Sparkman last year.
Yeah,
Hurricane Helene.
I enjoyed that game, but this one is going to be
fun.
This one's going to be at Harvest, right?
Yeah, this one's at Harvest.
There you go.
What's the Columbia spread this week?
All right, they were off last week, so Columbia right now. Here we go. Is this the game that I picked? Columbia right now is only a 2-point dog to East Lawrence.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to go with Aberville.
Okay. Albertville's a 6-point dog. So, all right. So, we're going to get you down to this. I swear, I'm really thinking that the East Lawrence game is the one that I picked, that this was going to be the upset, right? Thanks for that, Jason.
Good stuff, Jason.
I swear I thought I've been saying that the East Lawrence or the Decatur game is going to be the one where Columbia.
East Lawrence was this game.
All right.
This game.
Here we go, Columbia.
Pick it as your whack hitter dog pick, Joe.
Fine. Give me Columbia. Give me Columbia.
The team hasn't won in 95 games.
Give me Columbia.
Okay. I like it.
I don't care if it's only 2 points. Don't care.
I haven't even updated the whack hitter dog picks for you guys to know what to even go for.
I know that I have no points right now.
We do have Josh on the neighbors, the phone lines right now, and he does currently lead the wacky underdog pick standings. He has 27.5 points. Jason, who just called in, has 19.5. Smokey Mike's got 14.5. I was as confident as you were, Joe, last week with my Maryland pick over Wisconsin. It got me 10.5 points. So you rest assured, because you might be able to get a win. Dale's sitting at 10, and Jay is sitting at 4.5. I got to get some of these updated real quick.
It is going to happen this year, and this was the week that I said that this is when I thought the upset was going to happen. They have East Lawrence, Decatur, Coleman, and then Athens. And I want to say that Coleman has also yet to win a game this year.
Oh my
goodness. There are 3 games here. We are now within the window of Columbia ending the losing streak.
It's the witching hour.
It is the witching hour for the Columbia Eagles.
Joe, what is the spread on this game?
It's only 2 points.
You're picking it?
Yes, I just told you. You know what? It's not about the points. It's about what I've been saying for months and backing up what I've said.
I mean, I guess you just need to get on the board, right?
I mean, yeah, true. I do need to also just get on the board. I don't care what it is, because you know what? Picking a team that hasn't won in basically a decade and getting it, I should actually get 95
I was
points.
about to say, like, maybe we should get a little buffer for it. Maybe we should.
I should actually get 95 points for the fact that Columbia hasn't won a game since John had just started driving. Matter of fact, it was before John started driving was the last time that they won a game. And I'm telling you, it is going to happen before Halloween. Before Halloween, it's going to happen. If I have to die on this hill alone, then I'll die on this hill alone. Sammy Coates knows I got him on this. I am telling you, they are beating East Lawrence this week. I'm going to fly that flag high. I guess I may be the only one doing it, but that's what it is. 256-576-4977. As phone calls continue to roll in on the phone lines here on the show as we continue. You've over there been active. That's the reason why. But dang it, before Halloween, they're going to win their first game, and I'm saying it's this weekend.
Well, if it's not,
I think I should get 95 points for this.
If it's not East Lawrence, then we had a caller to actually just call in. He's actually from Decatur. Darren, he says, if it's not East Lawrence, then it definitely will be Decatur.
East Lawrence, look, okay, I'm pulling this up right now. East Lawrence has won 2 games. Between those 3 teams that I just named, East Lawrence, Decatur, and Coleman, between those 3 teams, they only have 2 wins total.
But do we know how bad Columbia actually is this year? Again, there's a reason why they have 95 losses and no wins in that time.
It's the same thing you just said about Alabama. It's a different era.
You're true. You're right.
See?
You're
there
right.
You go.
But they did lose to Huffman, so it doesn't seem different yet.
They've lost to everybody. Okay? They've literally lost to everybody.
I don't care if they've lost to everybody. The Huffman game is the one I'm just like, come on, you should have beat them.
UAH could put together a flag football team over the years and probably be able to beat Columbia, okay?
It's a bunch of college students, Joe.
Yeah, but they're most likely be drunk during the game. So that's just the standard, okay? Everybody has beaten Columbia.
Hopping back into the phone lines. We got Josh on with us, our current Wacky Underdog pick leader. Josh, how you doing today, bro?
Good. What's happening, fellas? How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. A little heated up here in the studio on a Tuesday.
I was right there with you, John. I was starting to get a little high myself.
I agree. What do you got for us today, bro?
All right. Well, let me say a couple things real quick. Joe, if Columbia wins, I feel like you do deserve that 95 points. Even though that would just like obliterate us for the rest of the year and you would be the winner.
I love how blunt
But if they happen to win, you deserve it, brother.
If I call, this is the game I've had circled for 2 months now. Okay, but continue. Sorry.
I do want to say also real quick on y'all's note, I feel like if Saban was still coaching with the NIL the way it is now, I don't think he would be as dominant as he was because it's so even across the playing field.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I will say that.
I think that we kind of started seeing that over the course of the last couple of years, honestly.
No.
We've kind of seen
absolutely.
these. Yes, absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this. So I've got 2 picks I'm trying to decide between.
All right.
Which one would give me more points? Arkansas over Notre Dame or Mississippi State over Tennessee?
So you're going 2 SEC matchups, and the lines for those ones currently, I got the SEC Arkansas matchup picked up, and yeah, that's going to be 4 points in favor of Notre Dame.
Which is kind of crazy. It's only 4.
And the Tennessee-Mississippi State game might be even more crazy, Joe, because it's only 7.5 points in favor of Tennessee. So you obviously it wouldn't be too big, but at the same time, you got a pretty big lead, so don't worry too much about it.
Hey, I think I'm going to take that Mississippi State. I think them Cowbells might rattle Tennessee, and they might be able to pull it out. I don't have too much faith, but I feel like maybe them Cowbells disrupt them a little bit, and Mississippi State walks away with a 1-2 point victory.
Well, Josh, you're already going on a 3 win streak currently, so that's what's got you this big lead that you got. But it would definitely be intriguing. This one is going to be at Davis Wade, so there are going to be plenty of cowbells. So when you tune into this game at 3:15, just be ready for your ears to have a little bit of tinnitus following the end of this one. So we'll put you down for it, Josh.
If only those other picks, I would have had the courage to put some money on it. I would have been doing all right now.
Yeah, you would have been doing all right. 27.5 points is yours.
Good thing I didn't take Illinois last week. Good God, Indiana blew them out.
Who would be stupid enough to pick that team?
Me. And I have no clue what happened. I genuinely don't. I don't know.
That's who I was going to go with. And then I ended up switching it. And I'm glad I did because I did not see that coming.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people did because not a lot of people were actually wanting to focus on that game. But by the second half, nobody was focusing on that game because it was an absolute blowout.
Yeah. All right, fellas, I appreciate it. Love the show as always. Y'all have a good one, guys.
Good stuff, man.
Thank
Appreciate you. That is Josh, our current leader in the Wacky Underdog picks at 27
until Friday
points. And
Joe's Friday night at about 10:30.
Joe's looking to actually cash in on the 95 points he would get from a team that has gone 0-95 in their last 95 matchups.
Yeah, they've also lost 57 consecutive region games as well.
256-576-97.7 if you want to join in on the Wacky Underdog picks or talk about whatever you want to by the end of this show. But when we come back, we're talking big dumpers in college football.
Cal Raleigh?
No, not that type of big dumper.
You may call him the home run king.
The bad dumper.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
There's a lot of talk these days about who's the biggest. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. Bigger doesn't equal better.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. We know we're not the biggest. We don't want to be.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're big enough to handle your case and get you the help you need.
But small enough to welcome you. Where you're never just a number, you're part of our family.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Situated downtown on Clinton Avenue, you'll find the Church Street family's take on delicious seafood and more. Sea Salt. At Sea Salt, the food speaks for itself. Fresh oysters, shrimp and lobster, and non-seafood beer, plus a large selection of wines, regional and local beers on tap, and a full bar. Catch the downtown vibe with Sea Salt's unique outdoor city street and patio seating with a view of Jesse Andrews' mural, bringing an underwater world to life. No reservations necessary. Sea Salt, 114 Clinton Avenue.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
Makes a catch, makes them bang into each other, stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, scores!
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide start SEC play against the Georgia Bulldogs. Our coverage begins at 3:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Final segment, best segment. As the ACC has hopped on board as well, they will now have 9 conference games.
Hey.
16 of the 17 teams will have 9 conference games.
Their schedule actually might be easier now.
Well, yeah, because now they don't have. They are also being required to add a 10th A4 opponent. But because the fact that they only have 17 teams and that the schedule would not be balanced, every year there's going to be one conference team that will still only play 8 games unless they add an 18th member. Then it can be balanced.
Who would that 18th member be?
I don't know.
I'm thinking
it'd probably take some luck at the Irish to get into that thing.
We were talking about it yesterday on a break, Joe's. We were going into the American Conference. We were talking about the group of 5 conferences that, we think have the most power. Obviously, Conference USA and Sun Belt and the MAC are going to be at the bottom. But then you got the Mountain West pretty much turning into the Pac-12 as well as the American Conference. And I don't know. I just see the progression goes to American Conference. Like, who's going to be that next team up? I want to say it would be like a Memphis or a UCF, but UCF got picked up by the Big 12. So, they were in the American Conference. But again, Memphis just doesn't have the market, I would say, for a big-time football school. But regardless of that might be a conversation we get into later on as we talk about schools that are going the opposite way. And that's why I was talking about the big dumpers, Joe.
Yeah, I'm interested in this.
The surprise dumpers, to be specific.
Surprise dump.
Because we could talk about,
needs a surprise dump.
The teams that have been bad and continue to be bad. But going into the season, there was a lot of hype around 2 SEC teams as well as 2 ACC teams. And they've kind of gone the opposite way. And I want to know your opinion on it. And so far, the verdict's still out on South Carolina. But teams like Florida, North Carolina, and Clemson, I want to know your opinions on which one was the biggest surprise dumper as they've completely fallen off a cliff. And wow. I'll say South Carolina as well, because currently 2-2, and they're not even into the full slate of SEC fun. They do have Kentucky, but that's going to be at home. It should be an easy challenge for them. But
does it have to be a team that's totally fallen off?
It doesn't have to be.
They've been eliminated from the college football playoff?
No, it doesn't have to be, because even Clemson hasn't completely fallen off. They're getting to it. They're hanging on by maybe one string, but they are in the ACC, so they have the ability to bounce back. But who would you say is the surprise dumper of the 2025 season?
Oddly enough, it would be Texas.
Oh.
I just really expected more from this whole thing with Arch. I wasn't expecting him to come out and be a Heisman contender, but I've not seen him perform in a way that makes me think they can beat a Georgia in an SEC championship. Like, that's what we're talking about. Like, right now, talent-wise, they still have the talent to beat a ton of teams because of how good each player is. But we're talking about with Texas, your goal is to play for a national championship.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you have a quarterback right now that is going to be able to do that? That's like, you keep thinking, well, it's Arches eventually. It's going to click eventually. Like, there's one of those. But I would probably say Texas, because I really expected that team to be playing much better than what they are. And it's not that because they lost to Ohio State. It's Ohio State.
No, that was the best game so far.
Like that's what I'm saying. It's not about that. It's about the play on the field in these wins that Texas has had so far that I'm just asking, okay, because you haven't beaten anybody. Well, and you've got Oklahoma coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they have absolutely obliterated Sam Houston. Guys, remember, Sam Houston State, is 0-4 right now. They're worse than UTEP. They're worse than San Jose State. But this week, Joe, I get that they are going to be off, but when they get back and they're playing Florida, unless Arch has fixed some more things, I think there's a good chance that Florida's defense can overwhelm them, and DJ Lagway and this offense can maybe get things rolling in Gainesville.
With the way Texas is playing right now,
those are two big dumpers that are going up against each other.
I know that's going to be a stinky game. I could see at least 3 losses: Oklahoma, Georgia, and A&M.
Man, I wish Alabama had this schedule, bro.
I genuinely could see 3 losses from this team right now with the way they've been playing.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. We'll be finding that out soon enough.
I wish my team would only lose 3.
You guys hopping in and listening to us as we've rambled, we've talked with great guests, and we've gotten in some wacky underdog picks.
Come on, Columbia!
The conversation continues on a Wacky Wednesday tomorrow.
I believe that they will win. I believe that they will win.
I don't know about that. But regardless, it's always good to hope.
I love you.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted